So, recently, I've been feeling this overwhelming sense of what I've been labeling as a lack of inspiration. But in actuality, that's quite the opposite. I am inspired. Whenever I'm just going about my day and completing my daily tasks, making my bed, taking a shower, or really just anything where my mind is occupied but not at full capacity, I feel my ideas start to flow and the creative spirit blossom. But when I sit down with the intention to write or to take photos or to film a video, it's as if those ideas completely escape my mind and I'm left feeling completely overwhelmed. It's not that I don't have the motivation to create, it's that, ironically, sometimes the creative process seems to completely kill my creativity. This idea is commonly referred to in artist circles as blank canvas syndrome, where when faced with the prospect of starting a new project, an artist becomes completely overwhelmed with the task of turning that blank page into a fully realized creation. Whether it's due to a fear of failure, an uncertainty on where to start, or a desire for perfection, regardless of why it's happening, as an artist, it can feel completely defeating. For me, when I feel this way, I immediately want to run away. I want to completely disappear and detach from the process. I slip into this cycle of what I like to call being productively unproductive, where I don't immediately turn to the cheapest forms of dopamine available, such as scrolling on TikTok or playing video games, but instead, I seek out a healthier source of dopamine, such as working out or cleaning my room or something. And while both of these things are great in a vacuum, and they make me feel better about myself in the moment, but once I complete those tasks, sure, now I'm left sitting in a clean room, but I'm also still left sitting with the crippling realization that I've made no progress on the one thing that truly matters: creating. But I didn't just make this video to wallow about my own personal problems. I made it because I want to help myself and any of you watching who might relate to my feelings. While it might feel like there's no hope or you're completely stuck, there's almost always a solution that you're just not seeing. My name is Aaron, otherwise known on the internet as Koski. So grab a snack, maybe a coffee, whatever it is you're in the mood for, and join me as we delve into the 5 tips for the uninspired creative. But in order to create a work you're proud of, you first need to get that desire to get out there and create. And one way I found that helps me is by investing in my personal projects. Now, that doesn't mean you need to get out there and buy a $10,000 camera or a brand new guitar or something. It just means getting something that reignites your desire to create. For me, as a photographer, that was getting a new lens, which I managed to find secondhand for only $200. And if you know anything about the world of photography, that's basically as cheap as it gets. After spending majority of the last year shooting on a prime lens, this new lens offered me a wide range of possibilities given its multiple focal lengths, and that made me want to get out and explore how I could capture all those new possibilities, even in the same downtrodden places that I've walked through a million times. Suddenly, I wanted to shoot familiar scenes with a wide angle or play with how different lenses capture light. But this applies to any medium. If you're a painter, maybe it's a new brush or a new canvas. If you're a guitar player, maybe it's a new pick. At the end of the day, the best tool for the job is the one that makes you want to get out and do whatever it is you find passion in. Because once that spark is lit, everything else will start to follow. My next point is to become a sponge to inspiration. After all, your favorite artist didn't start out with a fully formed personal style. They crafted it over years of creating and recreating things that they were inspired by. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and copy somebody frame by frame. Think of it like covering a song. You're not writing the lyrics or composing the melody or producing the instrumental, but you're shaping something that already exists into a version that feels true to you. And after all, sometimes a great cover can even surpass the original. This can take many different forms depending on the medium that you enjoy, but one thing that remains constant is the value in challenging yourself to work within the style of somebody that you admire. If you're making a video, try editing in the style of a creator that you look up to. If you're making music, try emulating the sound of your favorite artist. It's not about imitation for the sake of copying, but it's about learning their creative language so you can eventually use it to say something of your own. Because the truth is, we live in a time where everything you can possibly think of has been done before, at least once. So if you're unsure of where to begin, start by recreating something you admire. And through that process, I can guarantee you, your own voice, style, and perspective will naturally begin to shine through. Another thing that goes hand in hand with this is seeking out creators who are on a similar level to you. Because after all, what good is it reading somebody else's chapter 50 when you're only on chapter 5? I find this a lot with self-help content online, where the people giving the advice are already well established in their field. And while that's not inherently bad, after all, they got to where they are for a reason, right? but sometimes it can feel out of touch when you're just starting out. It's like, sick, man. I'm sure you can take beautiful photos on your $5,000 Leica in the streets of Tokyo. Now, how do I shoot on my DSLR in the middle of butt nowhere? But that's why I think there's so much value in finding creators who are at a similar stage as you are. Somebody with similar gear or in a similar environment or working within the same genre. I've found that their insights tend to hit way harder because hearing from somebody who's only just a few steps ahead of you is infinitely more valuable than trying to catch up to somebody who's already miles down the road. But who knows? Maybe you've been stuck because you're trying to force an idea that just doesn't resonate with you anymore. I found that putting energy into something that no longer serves me can make the entire creative process that much harder. And when your project starts feeling like a chore, you're naturally going to want to work on it less. So it's important to remember that it's okay to pivot, to let go, and to start on something new. And more often than not, once you get started on that new idea, you'll find that the essence of that old idea carries over into the new one anyway, just in a form that feels better and more authentic to where you are now. For example, I originally wanted this video to be a 30-day challenge of me getting out and documenting how I take photos every single day. But life has a habit of, well, lifing, and after spending weeks feeling stuck, trying to get this idea to work just because I had already put so much time into it, I realized that the thing that was holding me back was that I felt obligated to make it work. Once I gave myself permission to shift focus and start on something new, I found that the joy naturally came back into the process, and I felt inspired again. I came to understand that the work that I had put into that first idea wasn't wasted. It was just a step on the path that brought me here. The planning, the brainstorming, the vision, all of it helped shape the video that you're watching right now. It just took a different route to get there. So if you're feeling like you've boxed yourself into an idea that just doesn't resonate with you anymore, remember that it's okay to shift your focus and start out on something new. And that shift in mindset will naturally bring the joy back into the process. And I can guarantee you'll feel the ideas start to flood back in. But as I'm pretty sure any creative can tell you, inspiration doesn't strike when you want it to. It strikes whenever it feels like it, which leads me right into my next point. Whenever you get an idea, write it down. It might just be the tiniest idea ever. Maybe it's the name of a character or a single line within a script. But if it sparks something within you, don't let it get away. And please don't think,
I'll just remember it in the morning, or I'll remember it tomorrow.
Because I can guarantee you won't. But these small ideas are often the puzzle pieces that begin to form the larger picture. Someone who used to explain this concept quite beautifully was David Lynch.
And I always say, desiring an idea is like a bait on a hook. Yeah. It can pull them in. And if you catch an idea that you love, that's a beautiful, beautiful day. And you write that idea down so you won't forget it. And that idea that you caught might just be a fragment of the whole, whatever it is you're working on. But now you have even more bait. Thinking about that small fragment, that little fish will bring in more. And they'll come in and they'll hook on. And more come in, and pretty soon you might have a script or a chair or a painting or an idea for a painting.
My point is to keep these ideas fresh in your mind in whatever way that works for you. Maybe it's keeping a journal full of all of your ideas or writing them all down on sticky notes. Although after a while, that one might make you look like a schizophrenic. But for me, I found the easiest and most practical way to jot down my ideas is within my Notes app. As my phone is almost always on me at all times, it's super easy to just whip it out and write down my ideas as soon as they come into my mind. And as I delve further into the creative process, it makes it that much easier knowing that I can go back and have all of my ideas right there in front of me. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just simple bullet points are fine. But whatever it is, make sure that you don't let your ideas slip away. So by this point, we've covered a lot. From shifting your focus, to finding tools that reignite your passion, to drawing inspiration from others, and holding on to the ideas that strike you out of nowhere. But if you're gonna take one thing away from this video, forget everything else I've said up to this point. It's to just f***ing do it. Whatever it is for you, whatever creative passion that your heart feels called out to do. It doesn't have to be your entire day or become your entire personality, but oftentimes the magic that you're looking for is in the work that you've been avoiding. And that's okay. After all, procrastination is part of the process. But I urge you, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, just get out there and do whatever it is that you feel called out to do. Because it's a guaranteed loss if you don't try. But if you do try, there's actually a good chance you're gonna do it. So get out there, go make the shittiest beat you've ever heard, or pick up that guitar that's been collecting dust in the corner of your room for the last 6 months. Because once you take that first step, the rest of the path is gonna become that much clearer, and you'll realize how much success you've been avoiding.